What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new HMSP news video. Today we have episode 2 of our MotoGP 2020 season so far. So I've got my little paper here in front of me with everyone's positions and statistics of the season. Obviously MotoGP on the summer break at the moment, well, I guess you could call it that anyway, for a couple weeks before we head over to Misano. So episode 1 will be linked down in the description. That will be the Yamaha video, seeing as they were leading the constructors, and obviously today we're going to be on with Ducati. So obviously you already know their position in the constructors as we're going in order, but Ducati obviously have an extra team compared to the Yamaha squad. Obviously Yamaha only having 2 teams and Ducati have the 3, obviously with the factory Ducati team, the Pramac Racing team, and then obviously Avintia Racing. And yeah, we're going to kick things off obviously in a similar order to the previous video. We're going to go off with the riders, where they are in the World Championship, and the little statistics and stuff like that. So we're going to start off with Andrea Dovizioso, P2, leading the way in the Ducati family. No surprise there, as he does usually do that, every year. Since 2015 or 14 onwards, something like that, maybe even earlier, honestly. But Andrea Dovizioso, P2 in the World Championship, 67 points with 1 win and the 2 podiums. Obviously that win came in the Austrian Grand Prix, and then the other podium was also in, no it wasn't, it was in Jerez. I was going to say the other Austrian Grand Prix, but it wasn't. It was obviously the Jerez Grand Prix at the beginning of the season, where he got his first ever podium at Jerez, which was obviously a stat which I never knew about back in the day. But that's Andrea Dovizioso. Moving on, we got Jack Miller in 3rd place in the World Championship, having a good year. This year is Jack obviously going to be promoted into the factory team next season, so that's going to be interesting. But he has 56 points, 0 wins, and the 2 podiums. Obviously they did come from the Austrian Grand Prix. Had an interesting little couple weekends, Jack Miller, obviously in Austria. Those last lap battles coming right to the end, obviously with Joan Mir and then Pol Espargaro going into the last corner. So pretty good couple weeks for Jack Miller. Those 2 podiums. It's going to be interesting to see if he can continue this momentum into Misano. Going to be interesting to see. But then we've got Johann Zarco coming well, with the Ducati lately, getting some good results. 30 points for him, 0 wins obviously, and the 1 podium which he got in the Brno Grand Prix, obviously doing that absolutely crazy long lap penalty, right on the white line, all the dirty stuff, and pretty interesting stuff. Obviously that was pretty crazy. Obviously the commentators were going pretty bonkers with that, and yeah, he absolutely nailed the long lap penalty and got the podium, the first podium for Avintia also. Great result for that team. Obviously it's one of the lower funded teams on the paddock, so a podium was pretty good for them. And then we got Danilo Petrucci down in P14 in the World Championship, only 25 points, and he hasn't seen the podium at all this year. Not really been a great year for him. He's probably excited to move on to the KTM next season. Obviously we're joining the Tech 3 team. P18 we have Bagnaia, Pecco Bagnaia with 9 points. Obviously got injured in Brno, which was pretty unfortunate because he was looking like he was going to get his first podium in that Andalusian GP. Obviously his engine blew up, but it was going to be interesting to see if he was going to maintain that kind of momentum into Brno, and that obviously fighting for the factory seat of Andrea Dovizioso, but obviously got injured, which was pretty unfortunate. But we should see him back for the Misano Grand Prix. At least that was their intentions a couple weeks ago, so hopefully we get some sort of confirmation or something soon on that, because obviously Bagnaia, he looked like he finally connected with the Ducati. Ducati said that he was riding the bike like Marquez rides the Honda, which was a pretty interesting comment. And rounding off the Ducati riders, although we do also have a little bit of an honourable mention, but Tito Rabat, P19, with only 7 points, not having a great year at all. He's not really had a great season in MotoGP whatsoever, really, since he's joined. He has struggled. Obviously, I think it was on the Honda before, obviously the Ducati now. It's just not really going to plan. He's getting destroyed by Zarco, and yeah, Tito Rabat. Obviously, we know he's there. He pays for his ride. He sponsors the bike also. I think his jewelry thing. Yeah, I mean, does he deserve to be on the paddock? I don't know. He is obviously a great rider. We saw, Moto2 world champion, but MotoGP, he just hasn't connected, really. Maybe he needs a Yamaha or a Suzuki or something, but the Ducati doesn't really go well with him, and the handlebars are pretty ugly also. He has some pretty big handlebars. Not sure if any of you have noticed that, but it's pretty ugly stuff, I must say. But 7 points is all he has. And then as a little honourable mention, we have Michele Pirro with 4 points when he obviously replaced, I think it was Bagnaia for the first Austrian Grand Prix. I think it was riding the Pramac, and they managed to pick up 4 points. Pretty good rider, obviously, the test rider for Ducati. He does usually do wildcard Grand Prix, Mugello and stuff, and he's a pretty quick rider. He's one of these test riders which can come and do a wildcard or a replacement race and do well. Get a good result. We see other wildcard riders, for example, of Honda and Yamaha in Motegi. Those Japanese riders, the test riders, which in the actual race itself, they don't do anything. Then they're nowhere near the front. Or even Suzuki with Guintoli, if he would race. Michele Pirro, he's a pretty competitive rider. He's pretty quick, and obviously got those 4 little points. So a little bit of an honourable mention there. But yeah, he's P22, and that's it for all the riders. The 6 riders in the Ducati family. Moving on to the constructors, obviously P2 with 87 points. They're only 1 point behind the Yamaha team, which lead the way, and they have 1 win, obviously with Andrea Dovizioso in the Austrian Grand Prix, and then 5 podiums in total. If my stats are correct, I hope they are, and I think they are, but I'm not promising anything, but I'm pretty sure that is all legit. And moving on to the team little championship thingy, to get the Triple Crown, which is obviously what most manufacturers would be aiming for. Obviously, Honda accomplished it last year with Marc Marquez, but this year it's a whole different story, and it's all pretty interesting at the front. But we have Ducati in P3, the factory Ducati team, that is, on 92 points. They're only 10 points behind the Petronas team, which actually lead the way in the team world championship. And then we have Pramac Racing in P6 with 69 points, and Vintia a little bit further down, P9 with 37 points. Obviously, Zarco carrying that team at the moment, because Rabat really isn't doing a great job whatsoever. But yeah, that's it for all the statistics, where everyone is in all the different world championships, the 3 different championships, which all teams and riders aim to win. And Ducati in general this year, it's been a pretty up and down sort of year, honestly. Obviously, we've seen really crazy inconsistency between the riders. We've seen Zarco come well of late. We've seen Dobby struggle with the new Michelin tyre. Well, in fact, both factory Ducati riders struggle with that new Michelin tyre. We did do a video ages ago on that, so if you guys want to check that out, it is on the channel somewhere. But short story, the factory Ducati riders struggle with the new Michelin on the brakes. They can't brake how they previously would, and they're losing a lot of time. And we did see, the second they did go back to the older Michelin tyres, Dobby got competitive once again, obviously won the race in that first Austrian Grand Prix. The second one didn't quite go to plan. Everyone else kind of caught up a bit, but we did see him just have more confidence on the bike and be, you know, just quicker in general. With the new Michelin, he is struggling a little bit, but hopefully, you know, we do see them make a breakthrough in Misano, for example, and be a little bit more competitive and comfortable on the tyre. But we'll soon see. The Pramac riders don't seem to have had that problem. Well, the riding styles might just suit the new Michelin more. They do have a bit more of a crazy kind of wild style, I guess you could say. You know, if you compare Jack Miller and Pecco Bagnaia with Dobby, who's super smooth, and you know, he's just looks like he's not really pushing on the bike, but he's going quick, whereas obviously Jack Miller and Pecco, you know, they hang off a lot more, the bike's moving around and stuff like that. So we've seen Jack Miller being pretty competitive throughout most of the race weekends. Obviously he's had a couple crashes, but we've seen him be pretty decent everywhere. Pecco was also pretty good in the Jerez Grand Prix, which is also a track where Ducati have always struggled because of the cornering, but he seemed to have you know, done something special in that weekend, because he was on his way to his first podium. But yeah, pretty inconsistent stuff from Ducati throughout the whole season. With the new Michelin tyre, they seem to work sometimes, and then sometimes they don't. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens throughout the rest of the season. They've definitely got more tracks which suit their bike, where they could take more wins and obviously aim for the World Championship. It would be pretty awkward maybe to win the World Championship with Dobby when he's going to leave the team, but obviously that's what everyone will be aiming for. And obviously if they can get the Triple Crown, which they're not far off of taking the lead in all of the World Championships, that would be a bit of a bonus for Ducati. Obviously haven't won since 2007 with Casey Stoner, so a pretty long time, and maybe this year is the great opportunity. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see the Ducati team moving on into next season. Obviously getting new riders, obviously losing Andrea Dovizioso, and also losing Danilo Petrucci, who will be obviously going to that KTM team. And then as for Dobby, we don't know what he's doing yet, but it'll be interesting to find out. Hopefully we get some sort of announcement within the next couple weeks or months, but yeah, we're still waiting on all of that. And also we've got Jack Miller promoted into the factory team. We have Zarco and Bagnaia. They're going to be staying with the Ducati team for a couple more years. Well, Bagnaia had signed a 2-year contract and Zarco signed 1-year contract, I think, but it's going to be interesting to see in which teams they get put into and whether Rabat is going to get a contract or not. And there is rumours that Jorge Martin could join the Pramac team, and there is also rumours that a Moto2 rider could join the Avintia team with possibly Bastianini or Luca Marini. So that's all very interesting. Obviously, in order for that to happen, they would have to sign I guess Bagnaia to the factory team maybe, and then put Zarco into Pramac or something like that. Not too sure, but they've got to figure it out. They did say that they was going to sort it out for Misano, I think, so we should get an answer on all of that very soon, or at least Zarco and Pecco, I think, in Misano. But yeah guys, that's basically it for today's video. Ducati going pretty well this year. Also, they still have their main issues which they've always had, which is cornering, but it does seem to be like with a very specific style, they can get pretty decent pace out of it. So very interesting. Going to be interesting to see obviously how they go in Misano. Not sure whether it's going to suit the bike that amazing or not. Obviously it's got some fast sections, but it's also got some pretty tight ones, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, and just to see how they go out, you know, throughout the rest of the season really. But yeah guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to leave it down in the comments your opinion on the whole little situation at hand here with Ducati, and leave a like and subscribe for more content as always, and I'll see you with some brand new videos very soon.